Before you take your brand new, sub-250-gram powerhouse, your DJI Mini 2, out for another flight, you need to hear this: you bought the drone. You watched the quick start guide. You think you know how to fly. But here is the brutal truth: you are missing 90% of the potential this machine holds. You're capturing video, but it looks cheap. You're flying, but it feels clunky. You're seeing others post shots that look like they belong in a Hollywood film, and you're wondering what secret setting, what phantom accessory, they have that you don't. It's not an accessory. It's not a firmware update. It is a fundamental shift in how you use, set up, and respect this powerful little drone. In the next 30 minutes, I'm not just giving you tips, I'm handing you the secret 9. These are the 9 things that veteran pilots do immediately, the things that separate the casual flyer from the cinematic pro. If you ignore even one of these, you are leaving stunning, professional-grade footage on the table. You will crash. You will lose your drone. You will get frustrated. But if you do all 9, you will unlock the Mini 2's maximum power. I promise you, the 9th one, the final piece of this puzzle, is the single most critical setting. It's the one thing that will change your footage from a home video to a masterpiece. Stay until the end, because you need to know this. Let's dive into number 1. Stop. Before you take your brand new, sub-250-gram powerhouse, your DJI Mini 2, out for another flight, you need to hear this: you bought the drone. You watched the quick start guide. You think you know how to fly. But here is the brutal truth: you are missing 90% of the potential this machine holds. You're capturing video, but it looks cheap. You're flying, but it feels clunky. You're seeing others post shots that look like they belong in a Hollywood film, and you're wondering what secret setting, what phantom accessory, they have that you don't. It's not an accessory. It's not a firmware update. It is a fundamental shift in how you use, set up, and respect this powerful little drone. In the next 30 minutes, I'm not just giving you tips, I'm handing you the secret 9. These are the 9 things that veteran pilots do immediately, the things that separate the casual flyer from the cinematic pro. If you ignore even one of these, you are leaving stunning, professional-grade footage on the table. You will crash. You will lose your drone. You will get frustrated. But if you do all 9, you will unlock the Mini 2's maximum power. I promise you, the 9th one, the final piece of this puzzle, is the single most critical setting. It's the one thing that will change your footage from a home video to a masterpiece. Stay until the end, because you need to know this. Let's dive into number 1. You're shooting 4K, right? Great. But does your video look like a blurry mess or an ultra-sharp but weirdly stuttering CGI clip? That's because you're ignoring the 180-degree shutter rule. This isn't an optional setting, it is a law of physics for cinematic motion. Here's the simple version: your shutter speed must be double your frame rate. Shooting at $30 FPS dollar. Your shutter speed needs to be $1/60 $th of a second. Shooting at $60 FPS dollar. You need $1/120. But wait, if you do that on a sunny day, your image is completely blown out, pure white. This brings us to the missing piece of equipment that is non-negotiable for pro footage. ND filters. Think of them as sunglasses for your drone. You must buy a set of neutral density filters. By adding a physical filter that darkens the lens, you can keep your shutter speed at that magical $1/60 or $1/120 mark, even under a brutal midday sun. If you aren't using ND filters, you aren't a filmmaker, you're just pointing a camera. Do this now. You've seen the clips. The drone hits a power line. It disappears over a forest. This isn't just pilot error, it's a failure to respect the machine. We're going to formalize what the pros call the pre-flight routine. First, update the firmware. Every time you connect, check the drone and the controller. Never ignore an update. Never. Second, check the props. Run your thumb over the leading edge of every propeller. Is there a nick, a tiny crack, a rough spot? Replace them. A broken prop in mid-flight means one thing: an uncontrolled, high-speed plummet into the ground. Third, check your home point. This is the single most forgotten item. You must see the home point updated message after you are airborne. Why? Because the GPS signal needs to lock at the moment you take off. If you launch, fly 3 miles away, and then realize your home point is set to your bedroom, you have officially abandoned your drone to the wilderness. Mastering this checklist takes 60 seconds, and it is the only thing standing between a perfect flight and a 4-figure insurance claim. The Mini 2 has 3 flight modes: Cine, Normal, and Sport. Most beginners think Cine is for cinematic shots. They're right, but they're using it all wrong. They switch to Cine mode, and the drone slows down, sure, but the footage is still boring. Why? Because they haven't customized the gimbal settings. This is the secret to buttery smooth shots that glide like a phantom. Go into your app's control settings, find Gimbal, and look for pitch smoothness and pitch speed. If you use the default settings, when you tilt the camera down, it feels jerky and digital. You need to drop your pitch speed, how fast the camera moves, down to single digits. Try $5 or $6. And your pitch smoothness, the deceleration curve, needs to be cranked way up, $20 or more. The drone will now move its camera with a professional, slow, weighted grace. You are no longer flying a toy, you are piloting a camera platform. This setting is where true cinematic magic begins. Most people fly, capture an hour of footage, and then wonder why they have nothing to edit. They are not flying with intention. You need to edit the video in your head while you fly. Are you trying to reveal a subject, like a mountain? Then the shot needs to be a pullback reveal. Are you trying to create tension? Then the shot needs to be a droney or a fly-through. Don't just hover and pan. Every flight movement must be a story beat. When you fly, narrate the shot to yourself. I am flying backward and slightly up, revealing the entire ridge line in a slow, majestic glide. You'll quickly realize that $80% of your captured footage is trash. That's good. The remaining $20% that you shot with intention will be gold. Stop shooting hours of mediocre video and start shooting 2 minutes of purposeful video. The Mini 2 battery is a miracle of engineering, but most pilots destroy its longevity within a year. They fly until the battery hits $10% or $15% then they plug it into the charger and leave it at $100% charge for weeks. Stop. You are killing your battery. For lithium-ion batteries, the sweet spot for longevity is keeping them between $20% and $80% charge. Never let your battery drop below $20% during flight. The last $20% is your emergency reserve to fight wind and fly home. More critically, never store a battery at $100% charge for more than a couple of days. If you know you won't be flying for a week, discharge the battery down to $50-60% charge for storage. DJI's own batteries will sometimes do this automatically, but you should manually intervene. This is the key to having a battery that gives you years of reliable flights, instead of one that swells up and dies prematurely. You are taking beautiful photos with your Mini 2, but you are throwing away $90% of the data the sensor captured. You are probably shooting in JPEG. Go into your camera settings right now and select RAW plus JPEG. A JPEG is a compressed, processed file. It looks okay, but if you zoom in or try to change the lighting, it falls apart fast. A RAW file is the unprocessed, massive data dump from the sensor. It captures a huge dynamic range of light and shadow. In post-processing, even just on your phone, you can pull detail out of the shadows that was completely invisible in the JPEG. You can correct colors, balance the exposure, and recover a lost sunset. If you don't use RAW, you are telling your Mini 2, I don't need your best work. This is how you unlock true high-resolution photography. The return-to-home function is your drone's savior, but it can quickly become its killer. When you launch, your drone records the home point. But if you fly 5 miles to shoot a massive canyon or a hilltop landmark, and the terrain between you and home is $200 feet higher than your launch point, what happens? Your drone loses signal, triggers RTH, return to home, and climbs to its preset RTH altitude, say, $150 feet. It then flies straight back, right into the side of a ridge line or a transmission tower. Before every long-distance flight, you must manually adjust your return to home altitude. If the highest obstacle between you and your drone is $350 feet, your RTH altitude must be at least $400 feet. Always fly with this in mind. How high is the tallest obstacle in the path back to me? This single setting saves more drones than any pilot's skill. The Mini 2 has a digital zoom, but it's a double-edged sword. Most pilots either never use it or use it all the time, resulting in grainy, terrible footage. Here is the pro rule for digital zoom. It is a tool for framing, not for magnification. Use the zoom only to slightly adjust your composition, maybe a $1.2 text x or $1.4 text x zoom maximum, to get rid of a distracting element on the edge of the frame. Beyond that, the image quality degrades fast. Crucially, never zoom in to avoid a hazard or get closer to an animal. If you need to be closer, you need to fly closer. The primary, crystal clear footage will always be at $1 text x zoom. Digital zoom is a post-processing crop that you are doing in the air, and it should be avoided unless you have a specific, minor framing issue to fix. You've made it. You have the checklist, the right flight mode, the ND filters, and you're shooting in RAW. But your footage is still coming out either too dark or too bright. This is the $9 text th and most critical setting you are ignoring, exposure compensation, AV. In your camera settings, you will see a little symbol, usually $PM $0. This is your EV dial. The drone's auto exposure is not a genius. It is an algorithm that averages the light in the whole frame. If you are shooting a golden hour sunset, the dark ground will trick the camera into making the sky too bright and washed out. If you are shooting a bright white snow scene, the camera will try to darken the whole thing, making the snow look gray. You, the pilot, must manually intervene. For a sunset, dial the EV down to $0.3 or $0.7 to properly expose the incredible sky, letting the foreground fall into a dramatic shadow. For a bright day, dial it up to $+0.3 or $+0.7 to ensure your scene has vibrant, correct light. Mastering the EV dial is the final step in turning your Mini 2 from an automatic snapshot device into a professional, manual camera. It gives you the artistic control to tell the story you want to tell. You now have the secret 9. These are the tools and the mindset of every pilot who captures breathtaking footage. The difference between a beginner and a pro is not the drone they own, it's which of these 9 things they do straight away. Go into your settings now. Order those ND filters. Customize your gimbal. Check your RTH altitude. If this script saved your next flight or inspired your next shot, do me a favor. Subscribe and hit the bell. We dive deep into the real secrets of aerial photography every week, and you don't want to miss what comes next. Now go fly smarter, not harder. I'll see you in the skies.